We are very proud and excited to have Shri Sanjay, Bhatia, Chairman of Mumbai Port. He's also the patron of IMRC. Thank you very much, sir. Please, I request you to address.
Hi everyone. We have some great luminaries sitting here. And I'm very, very happy. In fact, I must tell you, I'm not going to start the speech the way people on the dais and all that. We bureaucrats form impressions very quickly. And the first presentation made by you, I am sold. Because you are already, you did it, the way you have organized it, and the way you have structured it, I can see this is going to be a very, very professional program. And it is going to give us some results. So Abdul Ghani ji, there will be very good takeaways from this. I am very, very sure, and there will be good results. In fact, something like this which you have thought of, Pawan Kapoor ji, when we were in college, we used to think that when we are doing some research or some project, I hope somebody gives us something practical. And Jagmeet will vouch with me that we would look for such projects so that they can be implemented actually in the industry. So I must compliment you, Pawanji, that you are today bringing the education and the practical side together, and we will have projects, and this is the age of startups. So if we have something coming out and the students who are there outside, they can always plan something and excellent results can emerge from this. Before I proceed further, I must also say that because of my initial reaction, you will have full support from Indian Ports Association and from Mumbai Port. Indian Ports Association is already, they have 42 centers of excellence. Let me just tell you so that when you do your collaboration with them, what we did was we identified 42 areas in which the ports need some sort of a consultancy or some research, and we were able to put it like this, that we prepared a panel of experts in these 42 areas, fixed their daily remuneration and monthly remuneration, and now the ports, without inviting any tenders, can straight away engage those experts and take that consultancy forward. So this was one area. Second, because we have these consultancy firms also, and every time a port needs to do something or the shipping corporation wants to do something, we have to invite a tender, and then there is 6 to 8 months which go in that. So we did the RFQ process for all these 42 centers of excellence, and we have now a panel of consultancy companies from which we can straight away take an RFP, and then they can come in and do a consultancy so that you can start the work in about 15 days time. So this is something, maybe you can take a look at all those 42 areas and collaborate there for this. So this was one thing I wanted to mention. Second, which Abdul Ghani ji has also been mentioning, that when you look at the Sustainable Development Goals, it looks like, oh my God, this is another session on SDG. Is something concrete going to come out of it? Therefore, the challenges which we are all facing in our practical life, in our working, I'll mention some of them so that especially when the ports deliberation starts, then you can think about that maybe in this session or maybe subsequently also. So you're aware that we are developing the port community system. PCS 1 Plus is in place, and we are now going in for the National Logistics Portal. So for every importer, every exporter, anything which he needs to do, vis-a-vis government, vis-a-vis the private sector, we are trying to facilitate and put it on that portal. So a lot of work is going on in that direction, and I'll be very happy to have your contribution and the contribution of this International Maritime Research Conference in that respect, because we are today doing a brainstorming with all the stakeholders almost on a fortnightly basis. There's a technical committee with IPA which also meets once in a month to see how we have to move forward in this. This is a collaboration of Ministry of Commerce and Ministry of Shipping, which we are moving forward on this. Second part is ERP. All the ports are going in for ERP. 6 ports have combined together. We have appointed consultants. We are moving forward on that. That is something else which you can discuss. Why I have mentioned ERP? Because with ERP we are going to reach a particular stage. The other day I was in Jebel Ali, and I could see their way ahead, or even what I had or we had planned. So maybe the best practices which others have could also be thought of in the research which you are doing here. Another area is arbitration. We are all spending so much money on arbitration. So IPA has taken an initiative. We are going in for something called Sarod Ports. Sarod Ports is that we are preparing a panel of arbitrators and fixing their remuneration. Otherwise, I am today doing an arbitration on my offshore container terminal, and for every hearing I am paying 5 lakhs. The guy who's representing to the judge as well as to the consul who are going from my side. So we are fixing the remuneration, and the private sector has already, the private ports have already agreed to that. In fact, we will be probably launching it in the next 10 days time. So the Sarod ports will be in place. This is another area where a lot of work can be done and further improvements can take place. Other areas, you are aware that yesterday the MPA, Major Ports Authority bill, has been approved by the cabinet, and it's coming before the parliament in this session itself, and the intention is to get it passed in this session. After that, there is going to be a lot of churning. So maybe you need to get involved in that churning which is going to happen, because it's a different ball game. A very clear vision of a landlord model. Very, very clear vision of a landlord model for all the ports. That's another area for you guys. The Consul General here mentioned electric ferries. We haven't thought of the electric part yet, but for Mumbai, we are going in for planning to get some hovercrafts for water transport. So all this congestion which we are facing today, that's another area. In fact, for the last 6 months, I have been meeting stakeholders and trying to finalize which hovercraft is best for this place, for Mumbai. Because there were 2 targets. One, it has to be cheaper than a taxi. Second, it has to be faster. You need to reach faster. Welcome, Abhitav. So I am suggesting to them some more areas of research and something which the Confluence is doing. Another area before us today is how to increase our coastal cargo. We have some consultancy reports, we have been deliberating on that, but that's something we need to follow. So besides everything is going to fit into SDGs, there's no issue on that, but these are some things which I am facing on a daily basis, which we need some improvement immediately. Skill development, another area, especially for my cruise guy. All these cruises have started. In fact, I mentioned the other day also, Amitabh was also present in that conference. In 17-18, we got 40 calling ships which came here after a lot of efforts. In 18-19, 106. This year, 243. So, what is the crew for that? A normal ship, a cargo ship, has about 20-25 people. This cruise ship has a crew of 1500 to 2000 people. So that is another area where skill development is a lot of skill development is necessary. Okay, then another issue before me, right now before me, Virat, INS Virat, Captain. INS Virat, we had been deliberating where to take it. So finally, I think it was being decided that we will probably junk it. But my minister has been after me, Mr. Pandya, that no, it cannot happen. We must build a maritime museum on this. So we have been trying to finalize a place in Mumbai near the port, and whether it will lead to siltation, whether it is that grouting is going to is supposedly very costly. Whether I can reduce the cost and bring it down less than 300 crores, then whether any dredging is required to take the Virat to maybe Haji Bandar or to the Oyster Rock. So these sort of, I'm just giving you some examples. This is an issue before me right now. Right now, I need to take a call on that in the next 15 days. So these are some issues which we could always collaborate. Next time, instead of calling a consultant, I can ask Mr. Pawan Kapoor to come and help us and guide us through your confluence in these things. So my best wishes to this experiment, and hoping that this confluence will become tomorrow the McKinsey of the maritime sector. So I will reiterate that we will give full support from IPA and from Mumbai Port in this, and it's a venture which we all should complement. Thank you.